This is Rotary Club Central Training. All right, my name is Mark. Joining us here will be Jerry Letexier. I was a past exchange student, a charter member of the Rotaract Club of Victoria back in 2002, and now I am a Rotarian with the Rotary Club of Chemainus. I was president last year, and during that time I had the opportunity to use Rotary Club Central quite a bit. We're going to go very fast today and go over as much as we possibly can. Our club last year did get a Rotary citation, or a club citation with gold distinction from the hard work of the club, but also from entering all the goals on Rotary Club Central. Our session goals for today are to go over Rotary Club Central navigation, and doing that, I'll be going through examples on how to get your club citation or how to register club citation. To have you more familiar with Rotary Club Central, we'll click through almost most of the menus. We will touch on Clubrunner, where it reports to RI into Rotary Club Central, and we'll go to Rotary.org quite a bit, My Rotary, to pull reports and look at the project showcase. What I'm doing is I'm going to be presenting slides today, and I also have my web browser up and running. If I have opportunities halfway through and at the end for verbal questions, and I could walk through something. In the meantime, if you have any small questions, just leave them in the chat there, and I'll try to get to some of those questions as we go along. My first slide here is jumping into Rotary Club Central, the basics of what we're talking about today. It's going to rotary.org and then clicking sign into My Rotary, then subsequently clicking Manage and Rotary Club Central. This will bring up Rotary Club Central. Now I guess the definition before we get into it, Rotary Club Central contains all the statistics and goals for your club. And I guess before we get further about goals for the club, there's many resources from Rotary, from our district, and from RI on setting goals and on strategic planning. We're not going to go over those today. We're just going to go over how goals are reported in Rotary Club Central. Rotary Club Central has a specific application or a page that has all the goals listed here. So I've clicked on my club here. On the left-hand side, the goal center. And then what you see there is a list of citation goals from RI, and before we move into that, each year Rotary publishes a brochure that has the goals for your club. Now your club probably has other strategic plans and goals, but the goals that are recommended from RI allow you to get a citation, a recognition. But they are also all the stuff you're probably already doing. So I'm encouraging everyone to report that you've done those, because this isn't in addition to your strategic plan. This is good for any healthy Rotary club to be working on a citation. For those of you who don't know, the citation is simply the recognition that you've met a number of goals that were set by RI. To start, before we get into how you report them, I'd like to show you probably the most important report you can pull on the citation. And if nothing else, pay attention for the next 5 minutes, because I'm going to show you the two resources. One is how to get a report on how you're doing towards your goals. And number two is a guide that after today will show you the steps of accomplishing every one of those goals. So very first is the report that shows where you are. If you click on we're back in rotary.org here in My Rotary, and under Manage and Reports, instead of going to Rotary Club Central, I'm going to Reports, and then scrolling down to Awards is View Report on your Rotary citation. This will bring up an old looking screen here, and clicking on that, the only link you can, you get a report. So this is what I'm encouraging you to do after this training, is to go and check on your citation status. Exactly who is reporting this, who is navigating Rotary Club Central. It really depends on your club. Many small clubs, it's the president who's reporting goals and the progress. You may have a strong administrator or an eager administrator, a secretary, or even a past president who's entering goals into Rotary Club Central. Any one of those, any club executive will be able to pull any of these reports. Individual Rotarians can pull most of these reports. What you see on your screen there, back to the presentation, is a report on the status of my particular club and where we are in each one of the categories that we would need to accomplish to get a Rotary citation this year. There's a lot of red, partly because of the time of year. So some of these will not populate until midnight on June 30th of this year. But there's a lot that you should do, or you could do as a Rotarian, to go and ensure that all your goals have been reported, so that when midnight on June 30th comes around, you're going to get credit for all of those. The other resource, like I said, the two top resources here, the takeaways, under Manage Reports, it's the same area. And instead of viewing the report, I click About the Program. And when I click that, I get a list of resources, including frequently asked guides. On that, if I scroll down to Resources and References, is the 2019-2020 Rotary Citation Achievement Guide. So I'm going to use this throughout my presentation, the Achievement Guide on how you achieve each goal towards a Rotary citation. Now again, we're going to be navigating Rotary Club Central through the lens of a Rotary citation, but this will assist in navigating Rotary Club Central regardless of the intention there. So moving on, I'm going to walk you through 6 of the goals and how to report them to Rotary. And there are 22 possible, but if you understand these 6, the other ones are just copies of them. They follow the same procedure. The first one in the Achievement Guide is to appoint an active club membership committee comprised of no less than 5 members and report the chair to RI. So this is a 2-part goal. One is Rotary Club Central and one is through Rotary or RI. And the first part of that goal, to report the chair to RI, is not done through Rotary Club Central, but is done through the managing of your directors. Now, typically this is already done, but I'm encouraging everyone just to go and check that it is reported for this year and next year to Rotary, so that you know on midnight on June 30th that it's already been done. I'm going back to Rotary.org under Club Administration and Add and Remove Officers. It brings up a report like this that shows that you have all of your officers assigned for this year. Now again, this is basic. It should have probably already been done, but there might be one thing missing. Now, most clubs won't be editing the records through here. They'll actually be doing it through through Clubrunner. So I've logged into Clubrunner here, and again, I have it live if there are more questions, but I've logged into Clubrunner and gone to Organization and then Executive and Directors, and just made sure that all of the directors for this year are filled out, including the membership. So membership is what we're actually talking about today. The second part of that, and what we're here for today, is Rotary Club Central. So I've left Rotary Club Central open. We'll do this for the next few slides. On the left-hand side in Rotary Club Central is the Goal Center. And here we see what the requirements, and I've circled the year to make sure we're in the right year, and then the Rotary citation. It's cut off, so the first goal there in red is Club Membership Committee. So Rotary Club Central is where you report that you have that committee of 5 members. So the presentation today is really focusing on how you report these to RI, not to help you accomplish them. Of course, it's always a good idea to have your club leadership committee create a membership committee. But today we're just looking at marking off and telling RI that you've done that. And that's done right through the Goal Center. If you don't see Rotary Membership Committee come up as your first goal there, there is an edit button. And if you don't have, all club executives should have that edit button. You can go ahead and enter those as goals, but I would urge you to not necessarily, unless you're the one in your club, to do that. Again, like I said, it's often the incoming president for the future year, or the current president who enters the goals, but it may be anyone in the club administration who does that. I'm going to move on here. That's all really there was on that membership goal. It's deceivingly simple sometimes, Rotary Club Central. So keep the questions coming, and we'll do some live stuff here too. But I'd like to go through 2 more membership goals that report automatically, because they're a little bit more complex, and they're not just a matter of ticking off the box in Rotary Club Central. The 2 ones, back to the achievement guide here. So the next 2 on our list here is achieve a net member gain of 1. And then the second one, or the last one on the list, is improve your club retention rate by 1 percentage point or maintain it above 90%. Each one of those requires different reporting. So I wanted to get you familiar with Rotary Club Central by going back to Rotary Club Central. And then this time we're going to use reports. So instead of going to the goal center, the reports there, the very first box of members and engagement and members in a club. Now, a lot of times through RI, you'll find that these actually go to the same spot. So there's 3 or 4 ways to get into this same member report. This one I just clicked on here through that is members in a club. And quite simply, I've cut off the bottom of the report, but this is my club here. Number of members at July 1st, number of members, May, we're in May right now, but it'll be updated as I pull a new report here. So we have 19 members, we're a small club, but I wanted to emphasize on how all of these goals are black and white to Rotary, or many of them are black and white. They're not gray. So if you have somebody who hasn't paid dues, or have somebody that's a little bit late signing up or joining, it's relatively black and white. So to achieve your citation, and you do have to make sure that these reports are reporting information that you think is correct, because if there's someone missing there, again, you don't want to find that at midnight on June 30th that someone is missing that joined your club a few weeks back. So I encourage you to pull that report. Moving on to the second goal in there is the membership viability and growth report. So the second goal was to achieve a retention rate. And again, this is you may know how many are in your club, but a retention rate is again a mathematical calculation they do at midnight on June 30th. But I'd encourage you to go check out now to ensure that the information you believe is correct. I've circled or put a square around member viability and growth. And if I click that, I come up with this second reporting screen. Now, keep in mind here that 3 clicks are required for each one. So I'm going to click enter start date and click the start of the year and click over, and it fills in that box. So when you press generate, the report will look like this. And just these reports have more and more information on them, but the ones to look at, and really as a board member, you may be looking at these more frequently than just for your citation, but they present a lot of information. So on the existing members that were members of our club on July 1st, 2019, we look at how the retention rate, and this is what the citation goal is asking you, to keep that retention rate of existing members above 90 and of new members above 90, or increase it by 1%. So I can pull that same report for last year. Now here we're above 90, but if you weren't above 90, they're asking you to improve it by 1%. So you can pull that report from the previous year. So I know this presentation seems like a lot of jumping, but we're actually following the order of the citation brochure, or the Rotary Achievement Guide, or Rotary Club Central. And again, I'm just using these as examples on on how you navigate Rotary Club Central. So let me go through a couple more on how to complete and report to RI. Moving into service, the next goal would be to sponsor or co-sponsor an RCC, a Rotary, or a Rotaract Club or an Interact Club. And again, through Rotary Club Central is where I'll find a report. Now, most of the time you'll know if you have an Interact Club or a Rotaract Club, but I encourage you to go and pull this report to make sure that you are listed there. So I'm back on Rotary Club Central and I'm clicking reports. And then under service this time is a listing of club sponsored organizations. A satellite club is another one of the goals in Rotary Club Central. It is reported exactly like a Rotaract or Interact Club. So I'm just using Rotaract and Interact as an example. But again, these are all from that publication from RI every year on the list of goals that you achieve a certain number to get a Rotary citation. I have heard that there will be changes coming. So next year that publication may not exist and it may be all done through Rotary Club Central. So it's a good time to familiarize yourself with Rotary Club Central, to click around and get familiar with all the resources there. So back to the reports under service here, a list of organizations. Now this isn't a very interesting report here, but it's a list of the Rotaract clubs that my club sponsors, and there are none listed there. But keep in mind on the bottom, in the circle or in the square there, the bottom box, red box, Rotaract clubs, Interact clubs, and Rotary Community Corps. That's for this particular goal. And yes, satellite clubs is another one. All these are reported the same way. I encourage you, if you have an Interact club, to go and make sure that it is under that tab. I can't click it right now, it's not live, but to go and make sure that your club has credit for that Interact club, because often it's just a matter of the bookkeeping, the entry into RI. So the second one under service towards a citation is to increase the number of volunteers involved in service projects. I'm back at the Rotary Club Central, but this time just on the dashboard. On the dashboard, we see funding and volunteers, and the volunteers one is the one they want to see an increase in. So last year we had 39. If you can see that, it's getting really small, I know, 39 volunteers. That is reported through what forms the next one, and I will show you here. Before we get to that, the one last goal is to maintain your club's foundation sponsorship or foundation giving above $100 per capita. Now I see in this same screen down here, annual fund trends. That will give you the information, but I'd like to show you the page that your foundation chair and your president are quite familiar with, but that show you the annual giving from your club. Under Rotary.org, under Manage and Reports again, we've looked at this screen before, but this time we're going to go to Club Giving and the Club Fundraising Analysis. This will generate another report. I'm sorry, there's a lot of reports here, but you'll find the Rotary Achievement Guide will walk you, again, instructions step by step on how to get into each one. This fundraising analysis, what I spoke of there, your chairs and you're maybe quite familiar with, you enter the month that you're interested in and press OK, and it gives you a club fundraising analysis of the start of the year through the month that you've chosen. Each club obviously will have a different one, but what you're looking at here is in the red box, your per capita giving, and that stays above 100. I see our district currently is $128 per capita. So now I must clarify here that the goal that RI is asking for of $100 per Rotarian or per capita is donations to the Rotary International Foundation, I should say, or the Rotary Foundation Canada. those are not donations to your club's foundation. So many clubs, particularly older clubs, will operate a foundation, a local foundation in addition. But they're asking really for recognition of your contributions to the Rotary International Foundation. And like I said a few slides ago there, it's all of these are just from the citation brochure, the recommended goals, and this increasing Rotarians' involvement in service. I have two more examples to go on the service activities of your club and how they relate to the Rotary Showcase, which sometimes gets a little bit more confusing because we typically don't use the Rotary Showcase very often. So again, and like I say, we've been now through 4 examples, but there are, I'm going to do 6 today, but those should cover you. You will be able to do this. I know you can do this on all 22 goals after the end of today. I'm going back to the achievement guide. I'm just taking snippets of it. I'll show you the achievement guide again at the end so you recognize the cover, but some of what Rotary has invited you to obtain here is to hold an event to raise funds for polio, to conduct a significant local or international project in one of the 6 areas of focus, and to post your club's project on the Rotary Showcase. I summarized the 3 on the left-hand side here. Now, all of these have to, back in Rotary, like we talked about with that first one, there's a little slider that you have to move to achieved. But before that, there's actually some links that can be filled out. And first of all, we'll move to that conduct a project in one of Rotary's 6 areas of focus. And again, I know a lot, just like all these citation goals, your clubs do so much good work in so many areas. And donations to local foundations and work in many areas, but Rotary has chosen to recognize 6 areas in particularly where Rotarians have, can leverage their skills to sustainable projects, and then has recognized 22 citation goals, of which you're to complete a certain number of them, as areas that help you maintain a strong, vibrant club. So again, keep up the good work, even if it's not in an area of focus. But the Rotary Showcase is a great resource for Rotarians to see projects that are happening around the world. I'm going to show you now how to add a project to the Rotary Showcase. Under Take Action in My Rotary, the Rotary Showcase, I've highlighted there, brings you to a project page. And this is really, I mean, I've gone down this rabbit hole too, of looking at what other clubs around the world do in terms of projects. Or if you have a particular vocation or particular interest, you can search it there and see if you could personally help with another club's project. Adding a project is quite simple. There is, sorry, I'm scrolling back and forth. There's a button at the top right of that page to add a new project. You'll be presented with another screen that says, are you sure that somebody else hasn't added this project in terms of somebody else from your club or another Rotary club too. You can tag other Rotary clubs as participants in the same project, and you're not taking credit away from anyone. Everyone gets credit for this here. But these are just saying that, there's a local club here, the very first one, Redneck Barn Dance Fundraiser. Well, somebody's already created that, so I'm not going to re-add that project. So when I do click add a project, the Rotary is asked for, title and overview, a little bit about it, start dates. So clicking this at the bottom of that slide is where we're starting to categorize and get credit for holding the project in one of the 6 areas of focus. Make sure you fill this all out. They are asking for number of volunteers, volunteer hours. this is where what populates the information in Rotary Club Central in terms of increasing the number of Rotarians involved in service projects. And it's important here to try to take guesses or educated guesses at the total expenditures, the total cash contributions, and the total in-kind contributions, so that it can show in a graph. Again, a lot of these are sort of black and white. They're increasing the number of people involved with a project, and it's sort of black and white. They want to see a larger number than last year. The second part of that is now to put that Rotary Showcase project into Rotary Club Central. And this is probably what a lot of presidents found out last year, that the linking of those two happened to be where they didn't get that achievement or that goal towards the citation. There's a second step in Rotary Club Central under the page that we haven't explored actually at all here, is service activities. As to import the project from the Rotary Showcase. Now, I'd encourage you to put on Rotary Showcase one or two of your large projects you do as a club to show the world and to achieve this. And then you can also add in Rotary Club Central any other small projects you want that are maybe just for your club, or that your major fundraiser, and you can keep statistics on there. Rotary Club Central is really meant to be sort of a central house of all these statistics. Unfortunately, right now, it still seems like you have to jump around between a lot of other pages. I do see that Chris in the chat there is finding it a bit confusing for new members. I agree completely. It is a bit confusing, and I'm going super fast in a very short presentation. And my lens towards the path towards Rotary Club Central is through a citation goal, which many new members won't be involved in yet. I would encourage you, there's one more thing on Rotary Club Central under resources. There's some videos and some small things about just basic navigation. So there is more of an intro. There is more of an intro available to Rotary Club Central. We bounce around a lot in this one just to ensure that you have credit for the in Rotary Club Central, because that was the one area that I got lots of questions on, is really achieving your citation goals. I think that's about it really in terms of specific walkthroughs. And again, I'd like to say that we really did just touch on 6 of them, but there's 22 goals. Really, you can't break this platform very easily. You know, they do ask you to try not to report things in duplicate, but you can't break it. So I'm really, above anything else, is to click around and test it. As any member, you can see some neat statistics on your club, distribution of ages and gender, and then also if you're an executive on the board, is to use it to track some of these longer term trends in addition to the basic trends that Rotary tracks. I guess we can probably open it again to the floor here to raise your hand if you have any questions, and I'll try to go through the chat. And if Jerry there wanted to unmute, you're welcome to answer any of these questions as well here.
Okay. Hello, everybody.
Hello.
John says he can't enter his data or goals in the 2021 year. I think typically what happens there is that you're probably not registered as the president to have the administrative approval to make those changes. That's typically what happens there. So I would go check and make sure you have the administrative, or you're logged in as that incoming president or executive, and then you should be able to log your goals. The other thing is if you're trying, make sure you're in the correct year. When you go up to the goal, when you go to Goal Center and you go to the top, it'll right there where his arrow is, you have to make sure that that arrow is in the 2021, not the 1920.
And that is a good point. To have permissions to edit some of this, we have to make sure that usually in Clubrunner, that we report who our incoming executives are. and then you shouldn't have a problem. I know when I was incoming, I had those goals entered a few months before my term.
One of the things that for you to remember is that Rotary Club Central is your, it's where the clubs report all of the information that's happening in your organizations to Rotary International. And it's really a great tool. The dashboard, kind of what Mark was saying, is that it basically gives Rotary International a good glimpse of each club and their, you know, and how strong they are and how they're tracking. And they don't really get to know that through a lot of these tabs and stuff that he's been going through, unless you input that information. So it's kind of a nice two-way street. And the more you learn to navigate Rotary Club Central, the more I think there's a lot of steps in there, but I think the more you get in and play with it, the more familiar you'll get. You'll find it's a little bit easier to input your goals and all those different things, but you really got to get in it.
Question about the 6 goals. So I just touched on 6 goals that I picked out of the citation brochure on how to do them. But again, the achievement guide, which I showed early on, actually, we could probably navigate right there. That achievement guide describes in detail all of them, all 22. And again, your club selects which of the 22 it's going to pursue. Incoming president, usually in concert with others.
Lee says, can you call with questions when we try to do these reports? I'm the assistant governor for Area 10, and I have 5 clubs. I think one of the best tools that you have is to use your assistant governors and to call them, because they're all, I mean, I know this is my 2nd year as an assistant governor, and having the training with my presidents has been amazing. I think I have 4 out of my 5 clubs right now that are all going to receive the citation this year. And I believe that my 5th club is really close. So we work on this with the presidents. Don't be afraid to ask. The district's there for you. Don't be afraid to reach out to them. That's what they're there for.
So I was able to pull this up. I hope everyone can see this. This is my Rotary, and I have it live here. If I click, and it just logged out. But if I go to my Rotary, and I think I'll probably just show you that citation guide here. Of course, it behaves very slowly.
Sure.
On cue here. Under manage, so Chris, maybe correct me if I'm wrong here, but expectations for goals arrived at. So typically your incoming president at PETS will receive a lot of guidance on how to set goals, and then meet with club executives before they start their term, and go through the list of 22 from RI and decide what they're going to focus on for the next year. That sort of sets the expectations. And then in terms of the technical achievement, those are given in that publication from RI, right? The technical achievement, what percentages, those are all set by RI. So sorry, on the screen there, I went to RI and then I went to manage and reports. And now I'm gonna just go down here to awards and Rotary citation. So that's where I viewed the report. And I can't emphasize enough that many clubs last year thought they were going to get a citation, but they didn't check this before June 31st or July 2nd, and they found that 1 or 2 little sliders weren't in the right place. The main resource today, though, is under About This Program. And is it okay to enter goals? Absolutely. So goals in Rotary can be entered at any point. The cutoff date technically for the achievement will be June 30th, but as a club, if you find that, you know, you had set a goal and you want to change it mid-year, there's absolutely nothing stopping you from changing goals as you go through the year. And then for all the incoming presidents, no, absolutely, you can set this year or next year's goals right now for sure. So sorry, I'm back to this, my Rotary, and then I clicked on my Rotary citation, and then the Rotary Achievement Guide. This is perhaps the main handbook through which most of this presentation was derived, is a step-by-step on each one of the goals in the order that I was talking about them here. Of course, it's being slow and scanning for viruses now, but it's probably worth it to see the title page of this. You know you're on the right one. So this is what it looks like. This is, you'll know you're on the right one here. The Rotary Achievement Guide. Now, incidentally, it should be noted that next year this may change as well. A lot of these, if you go under frequently asked questions, a lot of these may be more straightforward next year. They're certainly planning on doing some changes. And this year you have to accomplish 3 out of 5 membership goals and 4 out of 9 service goals. A lot of that might change as well, and it might just be accomplish half of the overall goals. So I'm scrolling down here. This is the document, the PDF that you'll want to bring up if you're in charge of reporting all these goals, because it goes through in a more succinct form every one of the goals and what I've been talking about. So there was questions earlier, or sorry, there was questions earlier I got by email. A net goal, change in female members or members under the age of 40. Again, it uses the same reports under club member data as I've given an example for. And then there was another one for a Rotaract Interact, but there was a satellite club question that came up in the chat there. Co-sponsor a Rotary Club. So again, everything is step by step in this guide.
Hey, Mark, do you have the Rotary International President's brochure that comes out at the year that basically lays out
Sure.
the citation for the year? I think that might be helpful.
I showed just small parts of that on a screen, but let me bring it up because it may jog people's memory here, seeing it 10 months ago.
Right, exactly. Well, I don't know. Are the participants here mostly incoming presidents or existing presidents? I wonder. Do you have that data?
I do not know. I see we have a raised hand there from Norman.
Yes, basically, by the way, I'm a club secretary in downtown Puyallup, and so we're not all incoming presidents, though I'm very past. But now get to the question. Does the pandemic going on affect the citation goals for this year and maybe into next year? Because I got a feeling this pandemic situation, especially if there's a second wave, will last beyond July 1.
Yes.
Yeah. Very good questions. I'm not aware of them changing the technical requirements for a citation. They are moving. They are moving dues and stuff. But as far as I know, they will pull these reports on July 1.
But they have changed basically when the RI president puts out his goals for the citation every year, under all of those different categories, you actually, which we're hoping to get that up here.
Yeah, I have
might list 7 different goals that he's looking and through those goals, listed of those goals, he might just say, in order to achieve the citation under this particular goal set, you only have to achieve 3 of those. So this is really good. So I think the next page of this.
Yeah, so I've pulled up the PDF. If you recognize this, it explains the theme for this year, where he arrived at Rotary Connects the World, where Mark, our RI president. And then the second page is what incoming presidents and most boards see going into a new Rotary year. And like Jerry mentioned there, so under Unite People, achieve 3 of these goals. So we talked about a club membership committee and 5 members, a net gain in membership, or we also talked about improve your club's retention rate by 1%. So most clubs will be trying to achieve almost every one of these at the same time. So the idea is absolutely that you can get 7 points in this category, and those recognitions would all be visible in that page I showed at the very beginning on how to see how you are progressing on your citation.
And Norman, to your point about the COVID or the virus, the RI president, Mark Mahone, he actually has changed the amount of the goals that he'd required to achieve the citation this year. And I think Holger coming into next year, I think he's going to probably take a really good look at, the world and what's going on right now. And I think you'll see that the citation for next year will be tailored to make it a little more attainable for all these virtual, for all the clubs to maybe try to get. So I think it does have an effect.
Okay, thank you.
Are there any other questions? Oh, we have another one there.
My name's Clayton Chang. We're a brand new club. We just got established in October of 2019. So this year has been basically trying to build our club, and we're trying to get as much, I'm the secretary of the club, I'm trying to get as much information on all of this. I've never seen the president's brochure or any of that stuff. So it's very helpful if you could put links on there somewhere else. I wrote down some of the links and how the steps you got to those places, but if you could put them down somewhere and maybe email it to us, I'd find that really useful.
Yeah, absolutely. So I did email all the registered participants. So you have my email. You can always contact me for those questions afterwards that you think of, for sure. As Jerry mentioned there, your AG is another good place to start with that. And I think we're running close on our time, but on the last slide, I'll bring up again, review a little bit about where I found some of those. I guess in summary, I'll wrap it up here so we're done ahead of 2. My Rotary and Rotary Club Central have such a wealth of information. Use My Rotary. There's a whole bunch of reports that we didn't get to today because they didn't involve the citation. Under the manage and reports, you'll find the 2 main takeaways today is the Rotary citation and viewing the report, and about the program. Those are the 2 takeaways. I'd be happy to email that link to you as well. The Rotary citation report, I urge you to pull that now as soon as you can. And you see there, we looked at that brochure there, the citation recipient, required activities 2 out of 2. Unite People here. So we have 3 out of 9 of the goals in this particular report. Some of these are automatically generated, so won't be available till July 1. But as early as you can in the Rotary year, start getting credit towards those, or reporting those. Not necessarily credit, but reporting those to RI. And then the second main resource is the Rotary Achievement Guide. It walks you through step by step on how to report those. And then I guess the third takeaway from today is you've got this. Just click around. I've shown you most of the pages in Rotary Club Central. Again, it's just a data hub for a lot of places. And each year it changes and more stuff is centralized to Rotary Club Central, even to this year versus last year. It keeps getting better in terms of being able to access more of this information through Rotary Club Central. So use Rotary Club Central as a member, and then also as an executive to enter goals there. So we covered quite a bit today. Some of the navigation, the goals today were to cover the navigation through the lens, through looking at our citation goals. The goals were to have you a little bit more familiar with Rotary Club Central, and then just touch on Clubrunner. I know I barely touched on it there, but reporting your executives in Clubrunner and ensuring it's syncing with RI, with Rotary International, is quite important. Our other goal was to have you a little bit more familiar with Rotary.org and at least the Project Showcase. The Project Showcase is another one that you can check out on your own to look at the neat projects, but also to ensure that it's linked up with Rotary Club Central, so you're getting credit for those projects. That's it. I think we've had a chance to cover all of that. If you have questions, email me, and again, yeah, for sure, talk to your AG, and keep your eyes open for more training as it comes from our district. So thank you very much for attending. And again, email me, rotary@bracket.ca if you have any questions, and I will send out that one link to the main report here.